Hey bosses, we're gonna do something a little bit different for this month's money mindset video. I've had the question from multiple of you, is YouTube worth it as a small business owner specifically? How much time and energy is going into it versus the return that you're getting on that investment? I'm gonna walk you through my analytics, taking you inside my YouTube studio and showing you what things look like for a small channel who is a small business using YouTube as part of their business. And this is gonna be a little bit different for me because this is kind of a stereotypical YouTube video. You see a lot of like what YouTube pays me type videos. Normally, when we're talking about money mindset, we're talking about either mindset directly or we're talking about the skills behind money mindset. But here, what I wanted to do was kind of take you into a little bit of, let's just call it awareness, right? Because yes, you need the skills, but you also need to know what's possible. You need to know, what the different trajectories might look like, what's realistic for one person versus another. And it's different for everybody. Know that what I'm going to show you is going to be different for another channel, is going to be different for you. But I wanted to actually show you this because it helps us to expand our own possibilities and really see for ourselves what might be good for us, help us make better decisions when we can talk openly about money. Also, I know that a lot of channels that do these, they're either YouTubers, right? So their main business is YouTube versus being a small business who uses YouTube. They are maybe big channels, which doesn't really show you what to expect as you're just starting out. Or they are channels that specifically teach YouTube, like how to grow on YouTube, which I have a sneaky suspicion that YouTube likes those channels and promotes them. And so naturally they're gonna see more revenue, more ad revenue, more things or different things from their channels than people who are not actually teaching YouTube and using YouTube related keywords or topics. So I am recording this in the middle of June. I have a small channel right now. I'm sitting a little bit under 5,500 subscribers, and I have been doing this for close to 2 years now, if you can believe that. All right, let's jump into my analytics, and I'm gonna give you a walkthrough of basically my entire trajectory and how much I've made over the past 2 years on YouTube. So this is my YouTube studio, and you can see right now, it's June 15th. When I'm recording this, and I've got a little over 5,400 subscribers, and you can see that has gone up in a pretty fair amount in percentage over the last few months. And that's simply because with the pandemic and everybody staying at home more, everything has been increasing on YouTube. People are watching more videos, so more people are finding me. In fact, if you found me in the last couple months, drop a comment and let me know. What I actually want to do though is show you Social Blade, which will show you the statistics of any channel that you look at. So I'm under the detailed statistics right now, and what I want to do is come down here and show you. This won't show me my my subscribers from all time. It's only going to show me through February of last year, but you can see kind of just the steady growth. So February of last year, February 22nd, I had almost 1,200 subscribers versus November, I had about 3,000. And then obviously now I'm sitting at, this isn't up to date, but you saw I'm sitting at about 5,400. This will also show you the total views. It's gauging it by week, but it's my total views over the lifetime of my channel. This drop off right here, I guess from what I've been able to hear, it's where YouTube went in and cleaned up a bunch of like bots and stuff like that. So everybody's stuff adjusted a little bit. But what I actually did when I started my channel was I was actually marking my own stats because I knew that once I got into the studio later on, it would be a little bit hard to see like the month over month changes. And so you can see what I did here. This is September of 2018. At the end of September, I had a total of 399 subscribers. So I had basically launched in September. However, it is important to know I had the channel up for several years before that. I had a few videos on there that had done pretty well just by themselves, but I hadn't promoted them. They were just a place for me to host the videos. They were oil related videos that we were sharing into our Facebook community. Our Facebook community had over 5,000 people and it has over 5,000 people in it. And so some of the traffic was coming from that. And then YouTube was also promoting those videos. Because of that, I actually started my channel with about 161, if I'm not mistaken, 161 subscribers. Most of them there though for the YouTube content. So I'm sure I've lost some of those people. If you're an OG to this channel, if you've been around since the very beginning, let me know that. But I know that I've lost some people, but in that first month before my first official video, which was September 4th of 2018, The prior month before that, I was promoting the channel and I was trying to get people onto the channel with an event that I was going to be at, and I was coming in and doing videos live from that event afterwards to kind of share takeaways and teaching moments and things like that. So I had done a lot of promotion to kind of get my channel up and going and create some momentum. And I think from that, I had about 140, 150 subscribers from those promotions. And that was mostly going into relevant Facebook groups. I did actually run a couple Facebook ads. They kind of bombed, but I was just kind of doing mostly organic things to point people to this big event, telling them to subscribe. And then from there, I was starting to do actual like weekly. Actually, at that time, I was doing 2 videos a week for the first 6 months, and then I kind of burned out on that. I'm remembering what I did now. So when I started tracking these, I was tracking these at different times, and then I kind of evened it out and decided I was going to do the first of every month. So the first of October, I had 410 subscribers. Then you can see it went up to 519. December had 666. January had 756. February is when I hit 1,000 subscribers. Now you need 2 things to get monetized: 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 watch hours. So I had the subscribers as of February of last year, but I didn't have the watch hours yet. And I don't think, I was actually tracking this, but I didn't have it converted to hours. So this is total minutes. So then in March, I had a big jump. This is when I did a collaboration with Gillian Perkins, and that sent a lot of new people to my channel, which was amazing. I had a big jump, and it actually increased my overall traction in YouTube as well. So my videos were showing up higher in rank. I was getting more recommended videos, not a huge amount. I would say like maybe 10%, but it was a decent bump that kind of helped me go from there. So then April was 1,900, almost 2,100, 2,229, 2,380 as of July of last year. Now you can see in June, this is where I started tracking my actual hours. So June 2nd, I had 3,300 hours. July 3rd, I had 3,700 hours. And it was at the very end of July of last year that I got monetized. My first monetization day was July 30th. And I'll show you what I earned those first few days as well. So then it was, 41, and I had 2,500, 26, almost 27, 28, almost 29,000. November was 3,000, 3,300, 3,500, all the way to June 1st. So on June 2nd, I had 5,200. So right now, like I was gaining anywhere from like 100 to 200 subscribers in a month. Over the last 6 months, that's slowly increased. And over the last couple months, especially, that's been more like 300, 400 and upwards. So it took me about 5 or 6 months to get the 1,000. It took me almost 11 months to get the 4,000 watch hours. It took a lot of time and energy to get to that point where I could finally start monetizing my videos. So let me show you what I earned my very first month monetized, which was a grand total of 2 days. And then I'll show you month by month as well. So this was July of last year. I had a grand total of $3.42. Woo! Party on Garth. It was like, let's see, $1.64 and $1.78 the first 2 days. Not a whole lot, right? It was not that exciting, but it wasn't necessarily a bad thing either, because I am a business who's using YouTube and I'm kind of in this for the long game. So I know going into it, I knew that this was going to start off slow, and I'm also viewing this as an additional income stream. So I wasn't expecting a lot. I didn't need a lot, but it was like, yes, I hit that goal finally, and I can continue to go from there. I actually thought that I would hit this goal much, much sooner. But like I said, I'm happy with the progress that I've made, because all along the way, I was learning so much about video creation. I was learning so much about the people that I'm here to serve, which is female entrepreneurs, especially those that have been in business for a couple years, and really where they're at, what they're struggling with, and the types of videos that they want. And so I wouldn't be where I am today if I didn't go through this long path of like figuring this stuff out. So you can see the first couple of months, I was only making upwards of maybe $2 or $3 a day, sometimes less than, right? Like there was a couple over here that was like, I think it was like 20 cents or something, but I was probably averaging about, $1.50 a day or something like that. So it wasn't a whole lot all the way, like you saw a little bit of an increase through the holiday season, which is normal. The holiday seasons increase the ads a little bit because people are more in a shopping mood. And then you see it continue to increase, and then it kind of jumps. Now this jump right here, this was because I did a video that took off. I did a B School review video right before B School launched. It was very timely. There was a lot of search engine happening, or search engine volume happening. And so this ended up being a lot of revenue for that video at this time and afterwards as well, just because that video took off. From there, it kind of went back to where it was. And then over the last few months, so many people are at home, it's steadily increasing. My subscribers have been increasing, and I've also been playing with a few things too in terms of seeing what I can adjust to make this, a little bit better. You get paid by YouTube in terms of ad revenue based on views. And so it's called your CPM, which is cost per mille, which is cost per 1,000 views. Now, a couple things go into this though. Number one, somebody either has to watch at least half of or 30 seconds of an ad, whichever one comes first. They have to watch that much of it for you to get paid. They have to either click on the ad, that will also trigger it to get paid. The number of ads that you have is going to make a big difference as well. You see some of these channels and they've got like 10 ads in a 20-minute video. Well, they've got the momentum behind their channel that people are going to sit through that many ads, but they also make a lot higher revenue because of that. Simply because if somebody, let's say somebody turns the video on and just sets it and they're listening to it, they may just let the ads play. They're not going to skip every single ad. And so things like that go into it. So when I first started out, I had ads just at the beginning. Then I added them at the end, probably, I think this was maybe in the last 6 months or so. And then just in the past month, I started playing around with mid-reel ads on certain videos, generally older videos or videos that are producing really well or performing really well, and just to kind of test and see how I like them and how they're affecting my ads revenue. The other thing though that is going to adjust your CPM, which is your cost per mille, which is how much you're getting per approximately 1,000 views, is your niche. So people who are YouTubers, if they're doing makeup tutorials, it's a very competitive niche. And so their CPM is generally going to be $5, maybe $10. Whereas somebody who's doing something more business related, their CPM could be like $50, which means they're going to get a lot more for their views than somebody else is going to get. So let me show you my CPM and you can kind of see. Now, keep in mind, I am actually kind of in the business niche, right? I talk about some business topics in this channel. Mostly I'm talking about mindset. I'm talking about time management, but because I'm talking to female entrepreneurs, my CPM is actually a little bit higher. So you can see my CPM in July was $20 or close to $20. If you look at it for this month of June, it's $27. Oh my gosh, go away. If you look at it in May, it was $26. This was up 56%. If you look at it in April, it was $16. I have tended to see it be around $15 to $20 for most of this year. But if I can show you, let's do last 365. That's not helpful at all because it's just showing you based on my top videos, but you can kind of get an idea of like where it's been at, and you can see the increase over the last few months especially. So how much have I made in the last nearly 12 months? Now, granted, I'm making this in the middle of June. I was monetized the end of July, so this is about 6 weeks shy of a year. Over the past year, I've made a grand total of $1,028.43 from YouTube ads. Not a whole lot. That pays for just over 2 months of my editing costs. It does not pay for my time. It does not pay for equipment or depreciation of equipment. It doesn't pay for most of those things, right? But this is an additional revenue stream in my business that I wouldn't have had otherwise. I'm going to be delivering content no matter what. And so for me to just randomly get checks in the mail from Google, why not, right? It makes sense for me and my business. However, I want to show you something. This is just ad revenue, just from one revenue stream in my business. But if you look at, I want to show you a video that is not a great performing video. This is my how to use oils with confidence video. My total views on this was launched about 14 months ago. My total views on this are only 568. My total revenue for 14 months of this video was $2.22. But what this is not showing you is that this one video made me over $6,000 and counting. And that's because I had a client who was Googling essential oils for confidence, pulled up this video, was like, oh, this is interesting. What else does she do? Poked around through my other videos, got to know me really quickly, realized that I was exactly what she was looking for. Within 24 hours, was a client of mine, had purchased essential oils from me, and we've created an amazing relationship from one video that's not ranking very good. So all of my videos, like obviously we want videos to rank good, but that's not my top priority. My top priority is to put out videos, even if 5 people are searching for them in a month, if they are my 5 people, that's what matters the most to me, because I'm not just looking at this secondary, not even a tertiary stream of income when it comes to ad revenue. I'm really looking at what is this video going to do in the long run for my business? The reason that I went with YouTube is because I'm going to create content anyway, but I want that content to continue working for me, right? This is a huge actual money mindset piece. If you create something once that continues to show up and do the work for you, creating residual income out of it, I don't have to do anything, and my channel is going to continue to earn money every month. Now, obviously, there's limitations to that. If I stopped posting altogether, it would dwindle over time. But the fact that I can do this, the fact that YouTube promotes the content, Instagram ain't gonna promote your content. Even if your content goes viral on Instagram, what is that, like a week, 2 weeks of traction? Maybe if somebody goes and they're like searching through your past posts, they may find something of yours from a couple months ago. But the traction that old content gets on things like Facebook and Instagram are nothing compared to places like YouTube. If you can show up in a search engine where your people are going to search for the solutions that you can provide, that's where YouTube will make sense for you. Now, I will say as my channel, I talk about mindset, I talk about productivity, things like that. It's not super heavy search volume. And the keywords that do have heavy search volume, they're very competitive. And so it's not as though I have a search heavy business. Like if I were a yoga instructor, the search terms for that could be amazing. Because if somebody wants to learn how to do downward dog, they're gonna go to YouTube, right? They're not gonna go to Google. They're less likely to go to Pinterest. They're gonna want a video that shows them how to do that. I don't have that benefit. And yet I'm still making money from YouTube. I'm still organically growing my business, organically growing my list, and I'm able to connect with people through video. I did video because I show up better on video, not my first few videos. If you watch my first few videos, they're kind of cringeworthy and I'm super awkward and scripted and like not as comfortable and confident because I was still getting the hang of it. I actually went into it feeling really good. I just didn't come across really good on video. But I chose video as my medium because it can build that relationship, because, what is it, like 10% of communication is the words that we say. The rest of it's our facial expressions and our hand movements. If you haven't noticed, I talk with my hands, and, just our energy and the tone and all of that comes across so much more in YouTube. And so for me, even though it wasn't an easy platform for me to master, it still made a lot of sense because I could still find some search terms and I could still promote the videos. YouTube promotes the videos and I can grow my business in a really organic way, really connecting deeper with people. And I've really seen the people that I've connected with that found me on YouTube, they connect with me much faster because they know me better now, because they've seen me on video, they've heard me talk. So if they jump on the phone with me, it's like an instant connection because they already know me. They're not kind of feeling me out. They already understand who I am, what I'm about, how I work, how I tick, what my personality is like, and all of that. So is YouTube worth it for your business? The first thing that I would tell you to do is ask yourself, is my business Googleable? In other words, the solutions that I provide, are people doing Google searches for those solutions? How to da 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 da. What is da 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 da? If they're looking for answers to the problems or the questions that you can provide for them, then YouTube's going to be great for that, because it's a search engine and it's run by the #1 search engine in the world, which is Google. The only other place that I would put time and energy into outside of Google, YouTube, would be Pinterest, because again, it's a search engine. And at the same time, it's still social. You're still able to connect with people. You're still able to have conversations. People can share your content. And so it just makes the most sense if your content is Googleable. That doesn't mean that you can't build a business if you don't have a super search heavy type business. I don't. And it's still been really great for me, but definitely keep that in mind, that some of the track records that you'll see out there, or some of the stories you'll see out there, how people hit 100K in like under a year, it's because they're using terms that show up in ranking, and then they create great content. Obviously, YouTube picks it up and suggests it out to people, and the traction builds a lot faster. It's a little bit trickier when you don't have those search terms behind you. Not impossible, but definitely trickier. The other thing I would ask yourself is, do you have the time? Because I went into this not realizing how much time and effort it would require. And I started off with 2 videos a week, went down to 1 video a week because I had other things in my business that needed to be prioritized. Creating the videos, editing the videos, promoting the videos, then we turn them into blog posts and other things like that, aggregating the videos out. It's time intensive. I would say we probably, all together between myself, my editor, and my assistant, we probably spend a total of 8 to 10 hours per video. Now, I've saved a lot of time for myself by having an assistant and teaching them what I wanted them to be able to do, by having an editor and working with them on the style that I wanted, and getting a consistent style so that his work gets faster and faster and faster because he needs less and less feedback from me. And her work gets faster and faster because she's really understanding the best way to do all of these things. So you can save a lot of time, but still the researching, the, figuring out what your content's going to be, and the recording and figuring out how to record and getting the audio right and the lighting and all of that goes into it. It's so much more work than a podcast, and which is also so much more work than a blog post. So if you have the time, like I batch record, it probably takes me a total of 2 to 3 work days. My work days are shorter, so those are about half days for most people. So it's taking me about 12 hours to put together 4 videos per month, and then passing it over to somebody else who passes it over to someone else, and then it's finally launched. So if you don't have that, you really need to examine, like, do I have the time for this? Is this the right time to start it? Because once you start the machine of content creation, you need to stick with it. You need to be consistent with it. And that's hard if you also have a big project you're working on, or you're trying to increase something else in your business. Like, the more you're spreading yourself thin, the harder YouTube is going to be. The consistency really makes a difference on this platform. The third thing I would say is, are you patient? Because it can take a lot of time. I went into this thinking I was going to hit 100K subscribers in a year because I have high standards and I'm highly ambitious, and I was like, let's go for it. I'm at a little over 5,000 right now, and it's been almost 2 years. Now, again, I'm super happy with my progress, but that's because my mindset's in the right place. I'm not beating myself up because I didn't hit a goal. I'm looking at the progress I'm making, I'm celebrating the wins I've had along the way, and I'm seeing the results. And so that's obviously making it a little bit easier. If you're not patient enough with the process, if you're not willing to get patient and really work on that in yourself, don't do YouTube. In fact, I'd probably tell you, you probably need to get out of business altogether, because anytime you take on something new, it takes years to master it and get really good at it. So if you've never done something like this, it's gonna take some time. And then I would tell you to ask yourself, are you at least decent on camera? You don't have to be great, But if you're super awkward, it makes other people feel awkward when they're watching you. And so it's harder to gain that traction. It's harder to gain subscribers and momentum and get people to share your content. So your personality really needs to come out. And there are a lot of great videos on how to build confidence on camera. I would definitely check those out. If you want me to make one from my perspective, let me know, drop a comment. I will do what I can to make that video. I really do think you need to have some level of comfortability, if that's a word, coming into this so that when you're sitting in front of the lens, you're not clamming up, you're not overly scripted, and you don't come across awkward because it's painful. Like, again, my first videos, I came into this feeling pretty decent, not feeling uncomfortable in front of camera. My first videos are like super awkward. So if you don't have that, your first videos, you're gonna hate them. That's okay, make them anyway, publish them anyway. You can always take them down later. But definitely come into this with some level of readiness to just, be able to get in front of camera and speak your mind and be yourself. The last thing that I will say, and a lot of people will say the opposite of this, I disagree. A lot of people will say you don't need a lot of equipment, you can film with your iPhone, da 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 da. I highly disagree, especially as a small business owner, and especially if you are wanting to, really gain traction. The higher quality your videos can be, they don't have to be super high quality, but they can't be like low quality either. You need decent lighting, you need really good audio more than anything, and that probably means you need a decent camera that can be adjusted if you've got low lighting settings. Maybe you even need some lights depending on your situation. I came into this with a DSLR camera, and so it was easy for me to just be like, yeah, I can do YouTube and I can use a great camera. And I'm glad that I did that. A lot of people will come into this and they'll use their webcam, which is kind of grainy, or they'll use their smartphone and, it doesn't pick up the lighting, or it's adjusting constantly for lighting, and it just looks terrible. As a business owner, your videos are part of your brand. And so I would tell you, you really need to look at a decent level of quality. Doesn't have to be crazy, but it does have to be decent. And your audio definitely has to be decent, because if people can't see you, can't hear you, or they see you and hear you, but it just looks subpar, they're going to lose trust in what you're trying to offer them as a business owner, right? You're not going to have the same authority as if you have some decent equipment. Again, doesn't have to be all out like the best stuff ever, but it needs to be decent. So do some searches like, best DSLR cameras for YouTube videos. Figure out something that's going to be in your price range. Figure out your lighting situation, play around with it, and start somewhere, but really try to increase as you can so that you get to a level of video that can command a little bit more authority, that people aren't going to be distracted by it, right? That's the most important thing, that they can actually see your content, hear your content, and understand you and who you are, and not be distracted by crazy editing, not be distracted by lighting or audio issues and that sort of thing. Okay. Hope that this has been helpful. If you're brand new here, please know that I don't talk a lot about YouTube. What I actually talk about is helping female entrepreneurs to crush their goals, not their soul, by getting their heads, their hearts, and their habits straightened out and in the right place. So if that sounds like your jam, be sure to subscribe, hit the bell for notifications, drop me a comment to let me know your takeaways from this video and how you're going to implement them, or any questions that you have. Give it a thumbs up if you found it helpful, and thank you so much for watching. I will see you in the next one.